had heard that there were, some tensions initially between Kansas and Missouri. And,
Is the Pope Catholic? Is the Pope Catholic? Was there some tension? You bet. You bet.
We were burned. You burned us. That was, her statement when we came to register.
There was a little bit of animosity for a while, but once we started working together, going to meetings together, talking together, actually going to each other's sites and hearing their stories, it's amazing how that divide vanished.
One of the things we've done that is just so enjoyable is somebody will talk about a story. And then the challenge is, how do we connect our story to that story? And you start seeing this web. I mean, it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And you talk about all of us being in something together. It is amazing how all of these stories tied together that you just never realized before.
We've grown individually, and we've grown as groups of people. We've grown just in our knowledge.
I have learned more since I was 60 years old than I learned in the first 60 years of my life, and that's because of this experience with Freedom's Frontier.
It's uniting the areas, doing exactly what the heritage area is supposed to do, because the story crosses the line. There's no difference between what happened in Lawrence and what happened in Osceola. It's all part of the same story.
Because we have been designated a federal heritage area, that makes us eligible for federal funds, but it's terribly important to the federal government for efforts like this to be public-private partnerships. Thus, we will be working with the federal government, state and local governments, and all of our private partners who want to help us tell these stories. And we will be hoping that there are lots of people along this border that want to preserve these stories.
The National Park Service has a requirement, and that is it has to be grassroots. And when you have grassroots, you're dealing with volunteerism. And when you're dealing with volunteerism, that's when you grow.
It is the purpose of Freedom's Frontier for us to understand that there is no one definition of freedom. There is no one perspective. No one is ever all right or all wrong on these issues. What it is a legacy of understanding freedom in ways that give everyone the room to believe when they believe personally and yet live in a civilized society.
I have no doubt that Freedom's Frontier will impact the world. I have no doubt.
For right or wrong, good or bad, Missourians and Kansans of all races, creeds, and gender ushered in a new era of freedom in the United States. Their collective histories, their unique definitions of freedom, and their journeys in its pursuit all need to be told. It's time to bridge this border. Through the prism of 41 Missouri and Kansas counties, 23,000 square miles, and most importantly, thousands of connected stories, Freedom's Frontier National Heritage Area will interpret, together as Missourians and Kansans, the next chapter of our unique story and refocus the nation's attention to our frontier, where freedom was forged